Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's green. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin mining stocks like Marathon, Riot, CleanSpark, Cipher, Terwolf, Bitfarms, Bit Digital, Iris Core Energy, and Core Scientific. Starting off with fear and greed, we are still in neutral on CNN and on pie vesting. We are in extreme greed. Important day tomorrow, coming in with the NVIDIA earnings that will be sure to affect a lot of the market. And crypto fear and greed, we've ticked up. We were in fear a week ago and we have ticked up into neutral. We'll see if we get a bounce at the current Bitcoin price level and get going towards greed. As far as the last year, we have been in this downtrend of greed to fear, but as you can see, we are now in this minor uptrend. So as long as we keep going this direction, that's good. Or you can make the argument this is a lower high. So we will see. These things always go up and down. So should this continue to go up in an uptrend, that'll be a good thing. Something important to consider with Bitcoin mining stocks, they act a lot like altcoins. And so an important thing we look at is Bitcoin dominance. When Bitcoin dominance goes up, it's typically not good for altcoins and Bitcoin mining stocks. When Bitcoin dominance goes down, depending on the circumstance and the timing, that can tend to be pretty positive. As far as the alt season index, we are still in this uptrend and we made a higher low. So that is looking good still. And if you want to see videos every week, subscribe. I do videos on the Bitcoin rainbow chart, and we talk about current and macro Bitcoin price action and some things that I'm expecting in this next cycle. So let's go over to Bitcoin and then we'll go into the mining stocks. Bitcoin on the daily, you can see at a little pullback where the candle wick touched the 50-day moving average in the body, staying over the 100. So in my opinion, this is still bullish. We have this trend line going up of higher lows. Bitcoin can even break through these and go down to the 200-day moving average at around 59.6, and I think it would still be fine that we'd still be in this uptrend. So we are looking for Bitcoin to recover from the lower end of this channel that it touched just a few weeks ago and get towards this trend line that Bitcoin's been in love with ever since the start of this whole bull market, as you can see there, as well as this gray line, which is the 2021 all-time high. Now, with our Heikin-Ashi candles on the weekly, we never really had candle bodies closing completely above that former all-time high. So that's important to take note. And that if we do start to see that, I think it'll be very bullish. As far as my fibs, I have this 9% line here, which is pretty decent at catching fake outs. So just something I'll be watching should we continue up and possibly be getting ready to make a new all-time high. Like I said, with Bitcoin dominance, what we're looking for is something like this where it tanks to the low 40%. I think it's at a level where at any time it could potentially do that, but you see Bitcoin dominance is still breaking higher. So I would not doubt that this will continue an uptrend. You can see how it follows the 20-week moving average, and maybe it'll get as high as something around 62%. That would not surprise me. But just know when it does start to drop heavily, that's when it's go time for many of these alts. So let's get into the mining stocks, and we'll first start off with Marathon, and let's throw on one of our buy sell signal indicators. You can see Marathon has a weekly buy signal, a little bit of resistance. You see the candle wick is still above, but not too much of the body on the 50-week moving average. So Marathon, I think this is a good looking level, and again, weekly buy signal. So I believe that looks promising for Marathon. As far as Riot platforms, this has been at pretty decent levels for dollar cost averaging. I think, some of the deeper levels. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One, it's a Bitcoin mining stock you can look for extra value out of as far as the levels it's at. Or two, when we compare this to other mining stocks like Cipher, it's not as strong of a chart. Now, there's an expression in crypto that high waters, high tides lift all boats, and the high tides, high waters being Bitcoin, and all boats being altcoins. It's kind of true to an extent, but should Riot be one of the altcoin slash Bitcoin mining stocks that does run up, then you're getting pretty good value here. Still not a buy signal, still in this uptrend. Let's go over to the daily. And the daily, yeah, you can see here we had a bunch of green days up and then wicked down a little bit, but this is still a higher low, so some decent value here. Of course, you can wait for price action and a turnaround, but if it went down to the low $7, I would not be surprised there for a lot. Riot, let's go over to CleanSpark. CleanSpark kind of similar to Riot as far as the recent price action we just saw, about a week up, and then we have this one move down. But as long as we're making higher lows, I think that's okay. But it is possible it comes down to this $8.70 level. As you can see here, it has resistance at the 618 fib at around $12.67. Let's move on to Cipher. Hope you guys see I'm trying to make these videos a little quicker. So Cipher does have resistance on the 50, 100, and 200 day moving averages. And you can see here it's running to the 200, having a little bit of trouble. But again, higher lows. And we still have the 618 here. So that could be our last area of support. If it breaks under the 618, I'd be looking for prices, in the low $3 range at worst to the mid $2 range. So just keep an eye on some of these things. But again, as far as deeper value, I don't mind Cipher here at this level. You can see here how the 50 week is still holding strong. We do have these higher lows, but if you want to wait for confirmation of a buy signal or the stochastic RSI flipping, one of those things, you can do that too. Of course, not financial advice, but just some things I might be looking for myself personally. Let's go over to Terwolf. And Wolf looking more bullish on the weekly. You can see it's running into the 0.5 fib, and it's getting ready to challenge that 200 week moving average again. So Terwolf looking a bit more bullish, but man, you zoom in on the daily, tells a slightly different story. So ran into the 0.5 coming down, but these are all higher lows right here at the 100 or the 50-day moving average. So even if it got down to 419 or 370s in that range, I would still consider it bullish as far as higher lows. If it did come back down towards the 200 or the 382 fib, I'd be a touch more worried. But again, the alternative perspective is that could be deeper value. But Terwolf, yeah, right now getting rejected off the 0.5, but let's see how it reacts in the short term off these moving averages, and if it might be able to make higher lows and then bounce and slingshot through. And let's go to Bit Digital. Bit Digital, kind of similar to Terwolf. You'll see how some of these Bitcoin miners sort of mimic each other. Let me get some water. And Bit Digital, again, a lot of these Bitcoin mining stocks in the last couple of days had a little bit of a sell-off. Now, it does have this daily sell signal. And the reason I have on these Heikenashis, at least for the weekly, sometimes the daily, kind of cuts out the noise. So typically when we start getting red candles, we get a few of them, same with green candles, but sometimes we don't as well. But again, we have higher lows here, so it could even come all the way down to the 200 or any of these moving averages and around the low $3 mark, and I would still not be worried for Bit Digital. I think that'd still be decent value. Of course, you have this big support here at the 382 at around $2.60. Let's go to Bitfarms. And Bitfarms still going up this trend line that it's been honoring ever since the bottom. So we are on that trend line. And is it possible it gets underneath? Of course it is. But it has the 200-day moving average. It has the 0.5 fib. But it has some resistance here at the 50 and the 100-day. So it is possible, we come down to the 200 even and then keep grinding up. But as far as just macro higher lows, even if it came down to the 0.5, I think that'd be good deep value at around $2 or $1.95 is where it has it. So just something to keep in mind for Bitfarms. And if it does get above these resistance, the next key area that it's not quite defeated yet is that 618 fib at 285. That would be a very important level for Bitfarms. Iris Energy Limited. Iris Energy Limited is at the 618 fib, and it's got a little bit of a rejection off the 100-day moving average. You see that daily sell signal, so it could come down to the 200. Even the trend line, again, this is another one of those that's honoring this lower trend line. Even if it got down to the 200 at 754, the trend line at around 690, something like that, it could still continue higher. But we have some key resistance. I'm sure eventually it'll challenge this 100-day again, but if it gets through all that, the next area that is not defeated yet, which would be very important, the most important level keeping it from being mega bullish, would be that 1385 level. So Iris, I don't hate these levels, guys, where it's near these trend lines or some of these lower areas where we've had a lot of price action support on the macro time frames. I kind of like that as far as dollar cost averaging and deeper value. Core Scientific, we're going to finish off with this. Core Scientific on the daily, you can see that it came down to the 100-day moving average as well as the 382 fib. So that's still looking pretty bullish, and it's still continuing higher. Now, it does have this doji candle, so I would not be shocked if it makes a higher low at that 50-day moving average at around $9.30. It's possible it could even come down here, and it'd still be a higher low because you see that wick was below this 236. So anything from that 860 to 930 would have to hold. Otherwise, we're looking at that 100-day moving average again. But if it can get through its former all-time high at around 1230, that'd be looking pretty bullish for Core Scientific. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're all doing well. Some good DCA opportunities out there. Again, you can look at buy-sell signals as I've showed you, or another indicator I look at on the weekly, stochastic RSI, and I look for it to flip positive from the bottom. So anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day.